Hello, and welcome to the Battleship Brawl Companion. I'm Evil for Zergan, and this episode I'll be reviewing the Tellurium by Cythphn. This is what's commonly known as a mech type design. Uh, in the main campaign, it's commonly used by the Twin Guard faction. What this means is that we've got a little carrier ship down here, which has a docking port, and then there's which is suspending this main torso thing above it. This is similar to the Thetis and Achilles by Nobide XX, but for I guess a true mech, it does have to look like a torso more or less, preferably with arms. So overall, a very cool looking design. We've got a nice golden black styling. Converging into these kind of warning pattern on the little carrier ship. So I've got the engines throttled up. It looks like we're making roughly 8 meters per second on average, but it fluctuates quite a bit with a carrier this small. It really bobs a lot in the water. Turn rate is quite good. Let's go here. So if I start turning, we're turning about 13 degrees per second. So quite fast compared to most conventional ships. So not terribly quick craft, but it turns at a pretty quick rate. Let's take a closer look at how the mech style works. We've got a bit of propulsion here just to keep this thing moving. But the main part is this turret with a docking station on it. As the turret turns, let's see if I can actually control the turret from here. As the turret turns, the top of the top section turns with it. And since the turret's only carrying the docking module, the turn rate of the top is quite quick. Now, in the actual battle, I won't be here to turn the turret manually. So, to deal with that, there's another little thing, which is there's this cram mounted also on the turret. Because of this cram, if the turret will aim as if aiming that cram at the target. So the hope is that by aiming that cram, it will face the top towards its target. Unfortunately, in this case, there's a little problem with this plan, which is a bare cram only has a muzzle velocity of 60 meters per second. That's not going to give it a whole lot of range, so most of the time the turret is going to be just facing straight forward. Furthermore, even if it is in range, if the target's moving, the turret is going to try to pull a pretty large amount of lead. That's why you saw some kind of strange behavior from the top in the first battle. Unfortunately, it's hard to deal with this in this tournament rules. Menti has banned all non-cram weapon parts. The conventional weapon to aim the turret is a laser combiner, which of course is hit scanned, so will point directly at the target. that's about it for this little carrier. Now let's move on to the main beast up here. As we've seen, this main thing is very heavily armored. We've got these heavy armor ridges on the front. Guns themselves have heavy armor, although unfortunately it's not easy to armor the barrels. Again, as we've seen in its first battle. On the sides we've got more heavy armor. Yet more heavy armor ridges on the back. Got these interesting, these look a bit like heat sinks, if you've played the MechWarrior series of game, or Battletech, the tabletop game where it came from. So, it's going to take a lot to destroy the top of the ship. And even getting an AI dead is probably not feasible. If I open the C menu, you see it has no fewer than 6 independent AIs. So, between the heavy armor and that, you're pretty much going to have to get to despawn through damage, I think. Or, unfortunately, destroy the little carrier thing down here. Without, I mean, the angle here is pretty good for any shell coming in to hit the carrier, destroy it, and then the top will be unable to maneuver and completely helpless. Let's move on to armament. We've got 6 large guns on the arms and 2 dual guns on the shoulders. Unfortunately, this is a rather low armament for this tournament. Let's see if all the resources got spent. Yeah, the material cost... Actually, I should go to the mothership since that's the cost of the entire entry. Don't expect it to make too much difference though. Let's see, V. Yeah, so this entry costs only about 142k. That's the least costing entry we've seen so far. Again, the limit is 200k, so we're sitting at just over 70% of the allowance. So a somewhat larger and or a better protected carrier would have probably served this entry well. So with only 10 guns, it's already a bit low on the gun count. However, there's also another issue with the guns, which is that they're rather on the low side for the warhead power. 27 explosive and half as many hardening material boxes for these big ones. And just 4.5 explosive materials for the secondaries. Let's see, the layout is... Let's see. Looks like Cythphn has elected to put the explosive pellets to make the most use of each autoloader, rather than making the most use of each pellet. It's generally better to get the most out of each pellet rather than the autoloaders, due to the cost difference. If we go into E, we see that the high explosive pellets cost 100, whereas an autoloader only costs 35. So for the cost of a single high explosive pellets, you can get 3 autoloaders. So you really want to be putting 3 or 4 autoloader faces around each high explosive pellets as best you can, rather than trying to optimize for the other way around. Um, yeah. Although with ammo boxes and hardener pellets, they're actually cheaper than the autoloaders. So for those, it may be more economical to use only one or two phases, depending on how your turret's laid out. So the armament is a bit on the weak side. In its first battle, it did fight another ship, the Scimitar, I believe, um, which was also on the weak side of armament with only 5 barrels. So naturally, that battle took quite a while to play out. But performance aside, it's a very unique and awesome looking ship. I wish Cythphn the best of luck in the rest of the tournament, and I'll see you next time.